So last time I began talking about the medicine wheel, but I didn't actually say what one was. I just talked about the principle of balance, living in balance with ourselves and in balance with the world around us. That's the principle behind it. So let's say what one actually is, so that it's not too abstract. It's four stones, one in each direction, north, south, east, and west. And they also correspond to the elements of fire, earth, air, and water. There you go. It's that simple. There's all sorts of other correspondences to these four stones as well. There's the birth, youth, adulthood, old age, spring, summer, autumn, winter, yellow, red, black, white, or a different set of colours in a different order, or the elements in a different order. There's all these wheels all over the Americas. No one quite knows where they came from, which I think is great. And in a way, most importantly, they become a symbol that sinks into your unconscious. It becomes part of who you are. And that was what happened to me almost immediately when I saw my first medicine wheel after years of Buddhism. This was in the 90s. I saw this medicine wheel and it just had me. It intrigued me. I knew nothing about it, but it's like, wow, here's this thing that is a teaching and it describes everything. And what I love about it is it's earthy. It's here. It's not a teaching about up there or about what's ultimate in a faraway sense. Yeah? It's a teaching about what's ultimate here, right now, because everything's here within you. We contain all within us. That is also what the medicine wheel says. It says so many different things. I've written a whole book on the medicine wheel. If you don't know, there's so many things that can be said. That's the beauty of it. In a way, the book I wrote on the medicine wheel was an opportunity to say everything I thought about everything in one way or another, because it all fits in. A medicine wheel contains the whole universe, and it's also you. And that's because we are the universe. I've heard it said a number of times that when you die, you become everything. And that would fit with that. You become the flowers, you become the trees, you become the rocks. So, where to begin with this? Well, let's just pull back to the word chaos for a minute. I mean, I can imagine it could get confusing, this word chaos, because I've been unpacking it in lots of different ways. And he goes, well, he uses this word chaos, and I'm not sure what it means. It's got all these different connotations. But if you just remember, it brings us to the heart of things. It brings us to what we're really about. It brings us to the center of the medicine wheel. Chaos is at the center of the medicine wheel. Chaos is that vast abyss that is at the heart of things, that beautiful, soft, beating heart at the center of the universe. That is chaos. It's the implicate order. Chaos means not order. It doesn't mean disorder. It means not order in the rational sense, but it doesn't mean there isn't this implicate order, this other patterning, this fate written somewhere in the stars. And I want to talk about the medicine wheel in as simple a way as possible, because that's what we have to do. We have no traditions, but we can borrow them, and we can dance between them, and we can do the same with the medicine wheel. In a way, it's artificial to adopt one that is really complex, because you can have 20 stones, yeah, all with these different meanings, and all interwoven, and that's beautiful. That's beautiful, and that can contain everything. But really, you know, well, my questioning of that wouldn't be so much because it belongs to a foreign culture, because we can adopt it, but because when you get that complex, it moves up to the brain, it moves up to the intellect, which is fair enough, because there's all sorts of nuances of meaning there, but you tend to lose that connection with the symbolism. once it gets intellectually complex. As long as it's simple, the unconscious can hold it. You can hold a symbol that is white in the north, red in the south, yellow over there, and black over there. You just hold it there. It can become the center of your dreaming, the center of your life, the center of your universe. That's how I've used it. And these 4 elements, fire, earth, air, and water, if you like, they're imagination, inspiration, incarnation, feeling, and mind and perspective. Yeah, just to make it a bit more concrete. Yeah, it's a way of describing all those different aspects of who we are in a symbol, and it's round. The motion of the soul is circular, as said Plotinus. I can't quite remember who he is, but he said it a long time ago. The inherent motion of the soul is circular, and you find that throughout the world. You find these circles. We tend to think in a linear way. We're going from A to B in our life, yeah, and C and D. Well, you might in micro ways, but fundamentally, you're going round and round. There's nowhere to go, and that takes a lot of pressure off us. All we need to do is to live in balance. And that balance has a way of kind of deepening. It's like there's a center in us that is ever deepening and ever unfolding. As long as we remain in balance, that's what will happen. As long as we can own who we are. And so this exploration of the medicine wheel, it will be about how we find that balance, about who we are, exploring these different aspects of who we are. Not just through fire, earth, air, and water, because even that is an abstraction, yeah, from what we experience. What do we experience as fire? Is the sun. What do we experience as water? Well, we're on land, it's the rain. Yeah. What do we experience as the earth? Well, that's the soil that we can put our hands in, that we can taste. And what do we experience as the air? Well, we experience the air when it moves, the wind. Yeah? So sun, rain, soil, and wind. It's very tangible. It's very in your experience. And that is another way of describing chaos, is that it keeps us close to experience. Once you move into religion, it's the form that matters. And being obedient to the form and the teacher and his authority and all that sort of thing that provides a sort of stabilizer, like on a kid's bicycle. And we drop all of that and we come into experience. We come into the heart. We feel the warmth of the sun. And we taste the earth. We feel the rain on our faces. And we feel the breeze blowing across it. All those things we're in experience. And we're close to ourselves when we're close to those elements. That's what they do. That's what nature's so good at. She brings us back to ourselves. She reminds us of who we are, which is her. And in a way, that's all the medicine wheel is doing. That's all that this great project called modern shamanism is doing. It's bringing us back to the experience of the elements and bringing us back to who we are. And what else is there to do? What else is life but continually coming back to who we are, remembering who we are? That's why, amongst the Chippewa Cree and probably other peoples as well, humans are known as the newborn ones, recently arrived, because we're the only species that doesn't know who it is. If you look at the other animals, they know how to live. They know who they are. We're the ones who scratch our heads and get out of balance all the time. So that's why we need things like the medicine wheel, to show us how to come back into balance, how to orient ourselves. That's why you have the directions there as well. And maybe I'll bring them in also, but I want to keep it simple because you can get lost in this maze of things that you know, and then you know the medicine wheel because you've got all this complexity. And that kind of misses the point.